Here we go with the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show. Great to have you with us here from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Henrik Lundqvist and Steve Alliquette. Rangers dominant tonight in Pittsburgh. Mike Sullivan wins his return to Pittsburgh. Final score 6-1. Henrik, why was this outcome so much different than the season opening 3-0 loss to Pittsburgh here in New York?
Well, we were looking for more speed. We were looking for more traffic and battles all over the ice. We got it all. And they should feel very pleased with this performance. As a team, you look at the score sheet, you had pretty much everyone get involved. You had great goaltending. The special teams, obviously, in the first period played a huge part, scoring shorthanded. But that kind of set the tone as well. You know, the way they, paid attention to the details within the special teams, that's going to give them a lot of confidence moving forward. But what a team effort.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of things here where you watch the game, sometimes you win and you feel like we need to do this better.
Yeah.
Yes, the first period was kind of even, but after that, they took over this game completely.
You know, one thing you can't get lost on this game, guys, is that it is a week where they're playing 4 games. And with a game tomorrow, it's nice to have a balanced lineup, ice time-wise. There were only 3 Rangers in this game that had fewer than 20 shifts. So that's balance for everybody. You get ahead early in a game, plus you're not taxing your goalie, who you could use tomorrow if you so choose to do it, but you most likely go with Jonathan Quick, who's going to be fresh. So in a week that's pretty tough to start an NHL season, you've got a well-rested lineup for a back-to-back tomorrow against Washington.
Pittsburgh had 9 shots in the first period, 10 total in periods 2 and 3 combined. Big game for Adam Fox. He is our Jersey Mike's sub-above player, as Fox had a 3-point night with 2 goals and 1 assist. 4th career 2-goal game, 21st career 3-point game. He's got 25 career games against the Penguins with 8 goals, 14 assists, and a +15 rating. He's got 3 goals this season, Steve. Only scored 10 all of last year, and he had 2 of the goals. 2 of the 3 goals the Rangers scored in the second period, 1 on the power play. Let's talk about how effective Adam Fox was on offense.
Yeah, you could talk about his offense. You could talk about his defense. He was all over the ice. He had that look, Bill, when you were interviewing him in the second intermission where he had the beet red face. That's when you know.
I have that impact on people.
Well, that's when you know he's playing his game, which is defense first, and then you convert it to offense. But he has a great stick here in the first period to break up a 3-on-1. Those are big-time plays. And I thought that Igor was able to play his game because he knows that he has coverage there. Fox saves 1 on the goal line as he's cutting off his man. And then, he's back here to make a play twice with his stick. He's got a great stick, and that helps he and Gavrikov to be able to communicate offensively. He's getting his sifter through, the shot that just gets up off the ice. You can get a deflection on it or a broken play. These two are just seeing eye to a certain degree, but it was the scouting report on the goalie Shilovs. He was looking over the wrong side of the shoulder. Fox is putting it across the screen. For any defenseman listening, that's the way you shoot it from the point. Get it across the screen if the goalie's head is, and that's, you know what, that's the biggest point, right, Hank? He is up, and he's doing 3 things on the blue line. He's sliding the blue line so he's got the footwork. He's crossing the middle of the ice so he has awareness. And he's looking at the goalie so he knows where to put it on net.
Look at the goalie, look at the lane, because that's probably the toughest part for any defenseman right now in this league. How do you get pucks through? But if you're able to walk the blue line like Foxy does or Makar, there's a few guys that are so good at walking the blue line to create that lane. Because if you're not walking the line, it's going to be hard. You're going to have players blocking that shot. And as we've seen, a lot of the goals, you don't have to have a rocket as a shot. It's more about getting it through. And I agree with you. Foxy looked so good, confident, calm, and playing good D is a lot about positioning. And what I loved, it was a couple odd man rushes. Not only Fox, but it was a lot of the defensemen had great position. And to me, that says, that they're calm and they know where to be. There were times last year where they maybe tried to do a little too much at times in their own end. But it looks like with their new system now, they calmed down a little bit. We noticed that throughout the game. There's not a lot of east-west. They're protecting the house better.
I think it's 1 now in 3 games. I might have to go back and double-check on tonight. I didn't see 1 tonight, so I think it's 1 on 3 games. They were giving up 4, 5, and 6 a game last year. That's the biggest difference with the coverage on the D zone. I mean, I heard you ask Adam Fox about it. was a great question.
In depth, huh?
In depth. This guy's
Steve gave
30-year pro.
Steve gave me the question.
No,
more zone, less man-to-man so far, and it's worked. Here's Fox now in the postgame locker room.
How nice is it to just kind of open up and run away like that?
Yeah, it's good. The first wasn't our best. We needed some saves, but cleaned up a lot after that. Special teams was good. PK was great. Power play wasn't great, but you find a way. You put some pucks on net and get some goals. And I think sometimes that's just how power plays goes. You put it at the net and get some, but definitely cleaned up a lot. 5-on-5 there in the second period.
You also had to play one defenseman down. I mean, how was that?
Yeah, it's never easy, but sometimes it simplifies as D-man. You're not going to do too much because you don't want to get caught out there or anything. So, sometimes mentally it helps to know you're keeping short shifts, keep it simple, and try and get up to the forwards and play in there. And less you're defending, the easier that is.
You've got two tonight, one the other night. I mean, are you feeling it?
I wouldn't say that. I think sometimes it's just the law of averages. I think. Last year the puck luck to start wasn't great. This year, the same shots find a way to go in. So, I think obviously on those goals it was, great play by that fourth line. I thought they were awesome tonight. Made a big difference to turn the tide for us. And then JT just, getting that front on the power play. I think that's, like I said, we tried to simplify. So I think it's more just, puck luck and, the same shots that found a way to go in tonight.
What was working on special teams for you guys tonight?
Yeah, I think the PK was really good. I think we didn't give up, too many great A's, and if we did, you need to save, and we usually get those. And power play started off a little slow, but I think once our unit simplified, we tried to just get shots, recover, and make a move like that. And same with that second unit there. So, like I said, sometimes with power plays, it's puck luck too. You shoot a puck at the net, and sometimes it goes in, sometimes doesn't. But at least you're getting it there and creating something.
Was there no added motivation to get that one for Mike Sullivan, especially after the way the first one went?
For sure. We let him down definitely that first game and playing a team, and it's obviously emotional for him to be back at a place he's been for so long and had so much success. So, like I said, we didn't give him the best start, but I thought we responded really well, and definitely happy to get the win for him.
Adam, we know how a couple things here. So the Rangers on the PK 4 for 4, power play 2 for 4. You heard Adam Fox talk about playing with 5D. Carson Soucy went out in the second period with what looked to be an upper body injury and did not return. Specialty teams, Henrik. Adam talking about that. They got 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal from Mika Zibanejad. Back at center because of the injury to Vinny Trocheck. The shorthanded goal last year, the Rangers scored 18 shorthanded goals. They got one this year. A beautiful sequence. Break it down for us. Sam Carrick to Zibanejad. It was the only goal of the first period, and it made it 1-0.
Yeah, and it was such a big goal because Pittsburgh, they came out hard. They had a really good first 10 minutes. Yeah. They had a couple power plays, so they really pushed the Rangers back. So to be able to score that shorthanded goal kind of settled things down a little bit, and it was a beautiful play.
Yep. Look, I think that one thing that we can say here, guys, is that they know how to go north fast and get speed and establish that speed with width. Because as soon as Erik Karlsson jumps inside that circle, it's the pass from Carrick to Zibanejad that has the highest probability of going into the net. He wasn't a shooter here because Karlsson chose to jump on him, but it's the recognition and being able to do that. And we were talking about this earlier off camera, the percentage and chance a team has to win the hockey game if they score a shorthanded goal and the opponent does not.
I thought 90%.
We're just going to talk about the win here, though, not just getting a point in the game, but just get the win, just winning the game.
90%?
No, Bill, come on, you're overshooting it. See, he's not the biggest guy, but he likes to think big all the time.
Henrik, yes.
70?
You're really close. 68% chance to win the hockey game when you score shorthanded and your opponent doesn't. I think that's pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it'd be higher than that.
Okay, well, 68%.
But I love the fact that Mika, gets rewarded. I think he's been, and Dave touched on it during the game, he's been playing really well the first 3 games. And to me, if the Rangers are going to have a really good year, Mika needs to have a great year. He's a huge part of this team because of what he does all over the ice. But also offensively, there's no way around it. He needs to be scoring goals. And it's just great to see him get rewarded early in this game.
You know what I thought, Hank, coming into this season is that, let's just say that 5 guys had years that might be their career worst last year. that makes them dangerous this year coming back as star players. The star players, to me, are dangerous coming back after a down year. Do you remember having, you could just call it your worst year? Did you come back and have one of your top years after that?
Good question.
Never
I
had
don't
an off
remember.
year.
Never had an
Question
off
is
year.
that.
No, but of course.
I never played because he was never hurt, too. You know?
No, but of course, you spend the entire summer to prepare, and it's in your head, the fact that, you know, you came up short last year, you want to do better, you have higher expectations of yourself, on the group, so you use that as fuel going into this year.
Yeah.
So to get a good start and start building confidence and understand that, to your point, there's a lot of good players on this team, and new coach and a new system. So yeah, at the same time, you need to have some patience to understand that things gonna take a little time before everything is working smoothly. But that being said, it's important to get wins early, build confidence, and kind of show everyone that last year that was one-off.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so the Rangers now 2-1. Mike Sullivan, the winningest coach in Pittsburgh history, back in Pittsburgh with a win, honored and emotional with the response he got from the Pittsburgh crowd.